Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. Getting straight into it, the current character challenge is for Arkham Killer Croc, and that is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Harley Quinn, Flash, and Sinestro, which luckily enough are all bronze characters. So if you're new or just getting into it, or I mean really just at any point where you might not have every challenge character requirement, this is a good opportunity to snag a gold.
And I know we probably harp on this way more than we should, but to me, it feels like the challenges should be a good entry point for newer players. So I'm always happier when the challenge requirements are relatively low.
That's definitely what it felt like when we were playing the game.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, because when you only have some bronzes and silvers, your first gold is so significant. And the good thing is, Arkham Killer Croc is actually a decent character. The good stats, because he's a late in the game's sort of progression, so with the power creep, and he used to be awful because he was so slow, but his speed was buffed in update 3.0, so he's no longer as slow as molasses, because when they're that slow, very often they're not going to be good for much else except for a tank, but he's a really good tank.
So and he also has a pretty good passive to support his use as a tank, Apex Predator, which means Killer Croc gains armor when he tags in or does a special attack, and Arkham character's special attacks also, sorry if I'm going to use the exact wording of the actual passive, Arkham character's special attack use also give Killer Croc armor.
Yeah, so that, I mean, you don't have to do anything artificial to make him really good in his role. Very often now, you're going to have Tantu Totem, you're going to have a specialist. You're going to be using that a bunch of times. I'm doing the same thing that the description does. You'll be using a bunch of times, so that by the time you actually need to bring him in, his teammate has already buffed him up really good by giving a bunch of extra armor, and he can be a better meat shield.
Yeah, and so this is one of those interesting examples where Killer Croc has actually gotten sort of better over time just because of his increase in speed with the update, whereas most characters, as new people tend to come out, he tends to get worse. They tend to get worse over time just in relation to the newer, shinier people that you can pick.
Oh, and there's a good example in the store that we can talk about later too. But so in the way Arkham Killer Croc is set up, he's very much like New 52 Superman on our Justice League team that we use in our P and Q and C and A, or P and C and Q and A and T, or is it P and Q and C? We've extended it long enough that I screwed up.
P and Q and C and A and T, I think.
Yeah. So superficially, they're not that obviously similar, but their roles, they're saved for the end. We're expecting a teammate to buff them up, so by the time we need them for what they're good for, they're way better than at the beginning of the fight. So New 52 Superman...
But there's also a decent chance that you don't need them in the first place.
Exactly. So we're going to link to the video where we're using him on an Arkham team for exactly that reason, in exactly that way, as a tank with an Arkham teammate doing a bunch of specials to build up his armor, so by the time he comes in, he's like really rocking the tank role that he's expected to play.
Yeah. This week's multiplayer award is Scarecrow's mask, which becomes Scarecrow's ventilator mask. Looking at our notes, we can actually see it hasn't been that long since it was last available. The end of November 2018 was the last time that we saw it come around, which is, not great because it's probably among the worst legendary gears. Its abilities are that it reflects 20% and then it turns into 40% when it's fully upgraded. Blocked specials damage back at the opponent. On tag-in, healing is negated for starting at 5, upgrades up to 10 seconds. And then its evolved ability is on tag-in 50% chance to hide enemy player characters' icons, and that 50% turns into 100% when it's fully upgraded.
Yeah, it's almost like a kick in the teeth that to evolve it, you get like the worst ability ever.
Yeah, because it's interesting in theory, and it's cool when they do new stuff, but it's totally useless because, enemy AI doesn't look at the characters, and it also seems to be like they tag them in at specific times, but they don't tag in specific characters. They tag in totally at random, and when when it's used against you, at worst it's a little bit of an annoyance, but it's only ever maybe a little frustrating, not ever something that actually feels like a genuine challenge. So there's no real fun factor. It's just a little dumb.
Right, and the tag in on healing being negated. Healing being negated when you tag in for up to 10 seconds. you got to time it just right. 10 seconds is not very long, and negating healing in that one small window, chances are it's not only going to be not the right time when you tag in, but it's even if it does negate healing, it's not going to make enough of a difference for almost every single fight. So that's kind of a useless ability too.
Yeah.
And the one ability that's almost good, reflecting up to 40% of block special damage, well, the problem is you got to take damage. And so as one ability in a gear, it's okay, but even then, I'd almost prefer Static's charged disc, where there's I think like a chance of reflecting special damage when it's blocked, but then instead of actually taking it, you actually reflect all of it. So you're actually protected on the times where it engages, and you reflect it all right back.
Yeah, and as a single sort of ability gear, you'd probably be much better off if you're dealing with special damage to just block a higher percent of damage than you would be to reflect a low percent.
Right. Oh, and I want to point out too, because I don't think I've mentioned this at all, because there's so many multiplayer rewards now, we very rarely, and I can't remember the last time it's probably been about a year, we don't see anymore the seasons where there's nothing special, where you just get multiplayer, where you just get gears and stuff, because way back when there was some glitch, and I was dying to do a video on it, but then we never got a normal season again, where the amount of money that you got was wrong for a lower percentage. So if you actually ranked lower than the top, you'd get more money, and it was actually a pretty good exploit, but it was more work trying to keep your percentage, your rank in the sort of not quite at the top.
Yeah, so I guess that's not relevant anymore, even if it was it patched?
We don't know. It's like one of those. It's like we'll get to it. Our Limbo glitch. Yeah.
In the store we have the Arkham Knight Batgirl cash pack for $26.99. That's if you're in Canada. It's not worth it. It's only one copy, and they won't unlock in your store. Might be a clue for next week's challenge, but it's not really a valuable purchase.
There's a Lantern Elite character bundle with Yellow Lantern Hal Jordan and Red Lantern Hal Jordan, also for $27, $26.99. And this is what I was alluding to earlier when we were talking about Killer Croc getting better. Red Lantern Hal Jordan was one that got worse very soon after he was released, because I guess, people were complaining that it was unbalancing the game, and it wasn't. And it just totally ruined it, because what was a really fun character play all of a sudden was doing less damage on his special 2, and it was taking time to bring back his power. He's supposed to use up his health, and that's fine. He can't heal. He's like a Geodude, where he's doing a bunch of damage and killing himself. But then now they make it so that you can't just do the specials over and over. You have to wait. So he's kind of an awful character. I mean, he's not awful. He's just not nearly as good. And part of it is the comparison. He's way worse than he used to be. So it's not fun playing with him anymore.
Yep. The Nth Metal Ultimate Pack is gone once again. Not sure why that's happening, but if the past has been an indication, it looks like it'll be coming back eventually. Maybe tweaked, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. And probably the most interesting thing in the store right now is that the Most Wanted pack is back. It doesn't look like anything new was added, but it now costs $27 instead of 600,000 power credits.
Which is crazy. I mean, if you actually look at the cash price of credits, 600,000 credits costs $52.26. So just from sort of an objective standpoint, based off of the way that Warner Brothers has valued credits, it's a good deal, but it's not a good deal if you actually look at sort of the real world and how people should be spending their money. It's definitely too expensive for something that used to be available for just work.
So let's hope this is not a new trend, that they're not gonna be pricing everything in real dollars and making power credits obsolete. Phantom Zone's still not active. Pattern looks like it's about once a month now. Fight 62 in the new page is still broken. However, Survivor has progressed to showing LexCorp gear set being available until 3rd of April 2019, and I have confirmed with some Last Laugh tickets that LexCorp gear is available in Survivor on Android.
So I think I'm willing to finally say that it has definitely been fixed, and they didn't just shift it one to the right to make it right at the beginning of the update. It looks like that is a full fix, or at least it has the potential to be. I think this is a good pattern. I'm hopeful that it continues.
Yeah, me too.
Moving on to the current glitches, just remember that every working glitch is explained in a video as part of the playlist that you can reach by clicking the eye in the top right corner of this video. We're Android only, so we're only able to confirm these glitches for Android. If you're on iOS and you see a question from an iOS user asking for help in the comments, please do consider helping out with that.
So maybe we'll start with the significant not working glitches. There's no current working glitch for credits that we can endorse. We get into the reasons in our Season 6, Episode 9, P and Q and C and A and T. But it's not worth repeating. There's no real working glitch that we can endorse as being safe. The glitch that used to work for getting past multiplayer season rewards repeatedly, that's also not working. And you cannot exploit the glitch for getting early multiplayer season rewards because that's not working either. And the glitch that used to let you get through Phantom Zone quickly when it was around, that has not been working.
So now that you've handled not working glitches, I can run us through a couple of the working glitches. Breakthrough glitch, let you play it repeatedly, is still working, and in the description we've got some information for a potential solution for people who are having trouble playing extra breakthroughs. We can't confirm whether this works since we're not having the same problem, but you can go ahead and check that out if you are having an issue. The challenge reset that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working, and we've confirmed that on the current Arkham Killer Croc challenge. Just a warning, the challenge reset can remove Phantom Zone progress when it is present, so when the Phantom Zone event comes back, I'm going to say when, not if, because I'm being hopeful. Keep that in mind, and just make sure that any Phantom Zone crystal progress is progress that you're willing to potentially lose if you're going to use this glitch.
So the airplane modes / refund glitch is still working. It's good for both packs with random drops, also known as loot boxes, and also last laugh tickets. And we want to point out that it doesn't work in the Phantom Zone for us because anything that requires an online connection when you get it, so the last reward after you've gotten all 5 crystals for the Phantom Zone, you can't use this glitch on that because you just won't get the reward. And some people have said that by logging out before the final boss fight, switching accounts immediately if you don't like your reward, that seems to work not for us. And the people who say it's working are typically iOS users.
Just a reminder that the difference in price between the 200 nth metal pack and the selling price of 240 for each nth metal for each metal card means that you can use the glitch and get about 40 nth metal each time. We mentioned that, but we also mentioned probably that it's more of a pain in the butt than it's worth for the amount of time. You don't get Valorium alloy, so you won't be able to upgrade your characters. You'll just be able to get the metal characters, and for the amount of time it takes, we aren't using it, and we probably don't recommend anyone else uses it either, although it's totally an option to you. It's not that it's not safe, it's just that it's not particularly good.
Yeah, and I probably should point out too, in terms of the numbers, I mean, the way hackers really expose themselves are when they've got metal characters that are fully evolved, because it takes 7,000 more than 7,000 Valorium alloy to get the specials maxed out. It costs another 12,500 to get the passive upgraded fully, and another 15,000 to get the dark power on the specials. Now, typically, I mean, there's a limit to how much Valorium alloy you can get. It's random, but on an account where we've maxed out every replay of the Phantom Zone when it was around, we're still at 17,000 Valorium alloy. So really, if they've got anything more than 2 characters that have specials, then on metal characters at least, then those are hacked accounts. Because you can't even buy them.
That's true. Yeah, so there's no way to get that legitimately.
Yeah, so what happens is that you end up, if you do the exploit for the nth metal for metal characters, then you get characters that have really limited specials.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not nearly as good as they could be.
Especially in multiplayer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. As always, return your cooldown / countdown clock back to normal before you finish. The free energy without having to watch the video also still works. We've been getting the button ungrayed out intermittently, and we definitely don't need to watch the video. We also have a comment from an iOS user, Dragons952, with a solution in the description for iOS people. If the free energy button is grayed out, we can't confirm its effectiveness, but you know, we have at least one report of it being effective, so we've gone ahead and put that in there just in case.
Right. And so that brings us, after doing the not working glitches and the working glitches, now we are doing the glitches that are in Limbo that are neither working.
The glitches that lieth in betwixt.
The Schrodinger's glitch. So that's the one where you can promote characters that are still locked in your store. The conditions haven't been right since update 2.14. Chances are it's never coming around again because we're more than a year later. But yeah, we're going to remove it from the list of current glitches once the conditions are right and it actually fails us for the first time.
Never.
Which is never. That's right. And that's it. That is
to
it
finish
for this
up,
week.
Yeah, we have a Patreon, and if you want to toss us a couple bucks a month, we'd super appreciate it. You can support us by going to patreon.com/bdckr or clicking on our character icon in the bottom right corner at the end of this video. But more importantly, we need to give a huge thank you to all the people who already have made the choice to support us. So that's a huge thanks to Console Peasant and Eddie G, who are supporting us at the top tier Last Word, iProfit3 on YouTube, who is supporting us at the Your Message Here tier, and Sean Farrell and Daniel Simonson, who are supporting us on the credited level. Thank you guys so much, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.